Alright, so what is up you guys, Jury here. So you read the title. In this video I'm going to show you how you can play Fightcade on Linux. So if you don't know, Fightcade is basically an emulator that allows you to play retro games online. So you can play retro games like Street Fighter Third Strike or Street Fighter 2. You can play King of Fighters, for example, and a lot of other like well-known retro games. So without wasting any more time, to get Fightcade is relatively simple. So if you open your browser and basically type fightcade.com, it will lead you to this page. So since this is a tutorial for Linux, I'm going to show you how you can get this game working using the Flatpak version, simply because I found the Flatpak version to be the easiest setup to get Fightcade working. So if you click this link, it will basically lead you to the FatHub page. And to install it, you can go here and you can basically type this in your terminal and you should be able to get Fightcade. Now obviously if you open a software manager, I'm sure that Fightcade should be available in most Linux distributions. So simply type Fightcade and it should be available in your distribution. So basically install it, and once you do, you are pretty much good to go, and that's where we'll go to the next step. The next step that we are going to do is to also download the FC2 JSON Pack. So from my understanding, these are basically scripts that allow you to play Fightcade, or like most ROMs for Fightcade 2, which is the online emulator that I mentioned earlier. So to get this, simply download this link right here, which I already have downloaded, but just download it and you should be pretty much good to go. Oh, and I'll also leave this in the description. Now that we are done downloading everything we need, then you want to open your files, and then we want to locate where Fightcade is installed. So for most Flatpak applications, Fightcade should be located in your .far folder. So as you can see, I already have it here. So if I go in this file and then go to this file, which is app, as you can see, Fightcade is already here. So basically go into your Fightcade folder. Now you want to go into your data folder because it contains all of the necessary like files of the game. So you want to go into your data, and as you can see, this is where you have all of like the most important stuff, like your wine prefixes, the ROMs, and all of these JSON files that I already have put. So in order to get Fightcade 2 up and running, and in order to play retro games online, what we need to do is we want to go back to our download section, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have this you want to have this zip extracted because it contains all of the JSON files that we need for Fightcade 2 to work. So basically all you want to do is you want to copy all of these JSON files, and we want to go back to our data of Fightcade, or like the files of the game, and you want to basically paste all of the JSON files in here. Now I'm not going to do this because I already have them, so I'm going to skip for all of the files and folders. But once you do, you are pretty much good to go and you should be able to get Fightcade working. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to open Fightcade. I find it a little bit odd that it took this much time for it to open, but yeah, as you can see, Fightcade is working, and I already have two retro games up and running. So for you, if you don't have an account, it might ask you to create an account if you're new to Fightcade, or if you already have an account for Fightcade, you can basically enter your username and password and you should have Fightcade up and running. So for example, if I want to search Street Fighter, because this is a tutorial after all, so let me search Street Fighter Third Strike, which is right here. I should be able to see the option to join. Once you do, you should be able to see Street Fighter Third Strike. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. But yeah, you should be able to have your first retro game up and running. So remember those JSON files that I told you to put in your data folder? This is where you have to wait for about 2 to 4 minutes, because what these scripts are going to do is they're going to like download the online ROMs for Fightcade, so that when you are being asked to play the game, or if you want to do your training, the emulator should have the game up and running. So what I recommend you to do is just to wait for about 2 to 4 minutes before you challenge someone, or like before you do basic training or test the game. So after about 4 minutes, what I recommend you do is you either test the game or like basically do a training. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a training emulator. So as you can see, we have Street Fighter just tried working with no issues. So let me select Sean.
Prepare to strike now.
So as you can see, the game works. Yes, I am a bit new to the game, but I think with enough time I might be able to play some online matches. But yeah, the game works, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now, if you tested the game, or you like wanted to do some bit of training, and let's say you run into this issue. So in case if you did run into this issue, don't worry, I'm going to help you how to fix this issue. So if we go into our ROMs section, and if you open the ROMs folder, you might have noticed that, hey, wait a minute, you also have the JSON scripts in the ROMs folder. And yes, I did. Now, why did I put them in here as well? Well, that's because behind the scenes, when I was actually trying to get something like Street Fighter That's Right to work, I noticed that it showed me this issue that most or some of you are running into. So then I was like, okay, let me check my ROMs folder to see if the JSON files, or like if all of the files are there to get this working. And I realized, if I open my file section, that yes, I had all of like the necessary ROMs. Like as you can see, I have the zips and all of the files I have, but I didn't have the JSON scripts in there. So I was like, well, okay, let me just put all of the JSON scripts in the ROMs folder. And when I did that, I closed this file, or like the files basically, and I just waited another 2 to 4 minutes. And when I did, I basically clicked training and the game worked. So if you run into this issue, what I recommend is that you go back to your Fightcade folder. Then you want to go into data. Now you want to take all of the JSON scripts that we have put in here, and you want to put them in your ROMs folder. And that's pretty much it. And my guess is that this emulator is specifically looking for these JSON files in the ROM section. So for anyone who is running into an issue where you see weird errors, what I recommend is that you also put the JSON files in the ROMs folder. And yeah, just wait for about 2 to 4 minutes and you should have the game up and running. So if I open another retro game, which is Garo, as you can see, it works. When I always say this, okay, let me zoom in to make this less painful. Okay, so I basically configured my keyboard because I didn't set up like my configuration for this game. So as you can see, even this game works. But yeah, the game works just fine. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or if you need any further assistance, just write them down in the comments and I might help you. And yeah, with that being said, it's your boy Jury. Man, I started a lot today, but again, I really don't care. I really don't care. But yeah, with that being said, it's your boy Jury and I'm signing out.